After living in Asia for a good stretch, I can say without hesitation that I'll never move back to the US. And I'm definitely not alone in this. This isn't about some idealized fantasy or running away from problems. It's about real reasons that stack up day after day. Making the decision to stay abroad, the obvious one for me. Maybe you're on the fence about this yourself. Maybe you're curious what it's really like to live outside the US. Or maybe you're someone who's thinking about leaving but worried about what you'd be giving up. Either way, I want to give you a clear, honest look at why for me going back is simply not an option anymore. And I want to do it without sugarcoating or preaching, just real talk for someone who's been there. First up, the cost of living difference. This is of course a no-brainer, but it's not just about having more money left over. It's about the freedom that comes with less financial pressure. Back in the States, I was grinding hard to keep up with rent, utilities, insurance, and the ever-rising cost of basically everything. One unexpected bill or car repair could throw the budget off and keep me up at night. That kind of stress wears you down over time, even if you don't realize it right away. You're constantly in survival mode. Now, in many parts of Asia, especially Southeast Asia, your monthly expenses can be a fraction of what they are in most US cities. And yet your basic comforts don't have to take a hit. I'm talking about rent that's a few $100s a month, delicious meals that cost less than a coffee at Starbucks, and reliable internet that's surprisingly affordable. When your dollars stretch that far, you start to breathe differently. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're living. But cost isn't the only thing. The quality of life often improves because your priorities shift. Instead of chasing a bigger paycheck or constantly upgrading to a bigger and bigger house or nicer car, you find yourself valuing things you may have overlooked before. Time, for example. Time to get outside without the stress of traffic, time to stroll through the local markets, time to meet people in your neighborhood and actually connect. It's about slowing down, but not in a boring retirement home type of way. It's a pace of life that feels more human, more sustainable, and frankly, more enjoyable. The healthcare system, this is a huge one that a lot of people get wrong. I'm not saying healthcare is perfect everywhere in Asia, but I've had firsthand experience getting quality care for a fraction of what I would have had to pay in the US. Dental cleanings, doctor visits, minor procedures, all affordable, fast, and with less hassle. Waiting weeks or months for an appointment is mostly a thing of the past. Most expats I know either have insurance tailored to their needs or self-insure, because even without insurance, prices are still manageable. That peace of mind, especially when you're living abroad, is priceless. Now, let's also talk about safety and community, because this often gets overlooked. I know plenty of Americans who live in neighborhoods where they barely know their neighbors, and they feel like crime could happen at any moment. As we recently celebrated the 4th of July, it brought back the memory of my car getting broken into on the night of the 4th, exactly 5 years ago while in the US. In what was considered the good neighborhood part of town, that constant underlying fear is exhausting. In many parts of Asia, I've lived in communities where neighbors know each other by name, where people leave their doors unlocked without worry, and where there's a genuine sense of looking out for each other. That kind of social fabric isn't something you can put a price on. It creates stability, peace of mind that contributes heavily to your overall happiness. Of course, living in a different country comes with its own challenges. Language barriers can be frustrating, and bureaucracy moves at a snail's pace. Cultural differences sometimes mean you have to adjust your expectations and habits, but here's the thing. Over time, you learn to roll with it. You get more patient, you find humor in the quirks, you celebrate the little victories. It becomes part of the adventure rather than a constant hurdle. The environment and pace of life also play a huge role. Asian cities have more green spaces, parks, and places to get outside. Walking and biking are common, which keeps you active without forcing a gym membership. The US hustle culture can wear you down physically and mentally. In contrast, many Asian cities balance modern conveniences with a slower, more manageable rhythm. It's healthier in the long run. Now, I won't pretend I don't miss some things from back home. Family is the biggest one, of course. Certain comfort foods or products can be hard to find or expensive, but technology makes staying connected easier than ever. And when it comes to the things that I do miss, there are often alternatives that fit better with this lifestyle. Plus, the benefits outweigh the occasional craving or homesick moment. Another huge factor for me is the freedom that comes with flexibility. The US can feel like one big trap. Jobs, housing, healthcare, social systems, everything is locked down tightly. Here, you can reinvent yourself more easily. You can move between cities or even countries without massive hassle. You can try new work, new hobbies, new communities. That kind of freedom is rare and it feels incredible. The biggest change for me was a mindset shift. Living in Asia opened my eyes to a completely different way of life. One less defined by materialism and more about experiences, relationships, and personal growth. That perspective is hard to give up once you've had it. Now, this isn't to say Asia is perfect or a paradise for everyone. There are downsides. Corruption in some places, occasional scams, and yes, dealing with hot weather or noisy neighbors. Singing karaoke all night long. But for me, the positives far outweigh those drawbacks. If you're thinking about making a change but worried about what it means, I get it. It's a big step. My advice, don't rush it. Take a short trip, live there for a few months if you can, and really experience daily life beyond the tourist spots. Try to connect with locals and expats alike. See if this lifestyle suits you. I've met plenty of people who thought it wasn't for them at first, but after a few months, they were hooked. Others thought that they never would leave the US, but they've stayed for years after just one short trip. Ultimately, I'm sharing this because I want you to see the real possibilities. Life doesn't have to be the way it is in the US or wherever you're from. There are options that offer better balance, less stress, and more joy. Maybe Asia isn't for you, but there's a whole world out there worth exploring. If you want to know more about what living in Asia is like day to day or how to get started with making a move, just drop a comment below. I've been through the challenges, the wins, and the surprises, and I'm happy to share. Quick behind the scenes note here. A few of you asked if I had merch, so I went ahead and put some together. They're simple, clean designs that I would actually wear while traveling or filming myself. It helps support the channel directly, and yeah, it looks pretty good too. Links in the description and pinned comment below if you want to take a peek for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.